Here we go on these cold attic nights. 11 of chapter 7. Plautus, the playwright, Atticae, even in the casino, which was one of his books, also in the casino, when concerning a girl he was loquentering, he was speaking, he dixited, he said, occusuram, not occusuram, with the A for women, in his verbis, in these words. Even has Casina a gladium, so has Casina have a sword, a gladium, it's one of these short Roman swords. The knee shows it's a question. Casina has, but duos, two of them. What? Two of them? Sometimes it can mean why. Why two of them? One of these two, altero means one of two. She's going to kill you, and the other, the villicum. This is like the foreman at a farm or something like that. Usually it's a slave. Item, likewise, laborious in the gemellus, which means twins, inquit. Non pudivi. I don't think, let's see, we have an em, which is the female, and the facturum is the normal male version, so we're trying to say this is an infinitive. So I don't think this should be done. So therefore then, ergo, isti omnes, all these men, which solecisms of which they used, they were non-ignorant. They weren't ignorant of the solecisms which they used. But also, and as Gracchus used dictorum, and Codrigarius used futurum and facturum, and Antius used processurum, and Plautus used occusurum, and Laberius used facturum. Dixerant, they use these only as indefinito, which means the infinitive. Qui modus, which way we'll take it for now, neither in numeros, neither in the number, nor in the personas, nor in the tempora. Time's probably not the best translation there, or neither in genera are distrauted, so they're not drawn out, they're not changed due to number or persona or whatever, but all of istank, all of these in one and the same way are declined or parsed, complicated, they're all embraced within this system. What did the Loeb use for that? No mood, number, person, tense, or gender. Okay. 15. Sicuti. Just as Marcus Cicero said futurum, it was not the virile gender nor the neutro, so it's not male or neuter. For enim, this plainly was a solecism. But he uses as, taking the ablative, but he used this verbo, this word, by the necessity, looks like free from all generum, from all genders or types, absoluto. There we go. So I'll read this thing from the Loeb. It says, Gellius' friend was partly right. Such forms as dictorum were derived from the second supine dictu plus erum earlier isum, the infinitive of sum. Later, the resulting form dictorum was looked upon as a participle and declined. In earlier writers, such infinitives did not change the form and did not add the tautological essay. Okay, back to the plot. Okay. Autem, moreover, or however, this same amicus noster, this same friend of mine, in the same oration of Marcus Tullius Cicero, which is called, or which is on, de means concerning, the Imperio of Pompey, concerning Pompey's command, ita scriptum, thus it is written, as it was said by Cicero, and he himself, well, this is his amicus, I'm guessing, thus lectibabated it, lectiabat, he was reading it this way. Here's the quote, cum vestros portus, when it's your ports, and eos portus, and those ports, quibus, with which or from which you ductus, you draw or lead your vitam and spiritum, your life and your breath, were in the potestam fuisi sciatis. So you know these are in the power of the pirates. So neither is it a solecism when he was saying in potestem fuisi, as the vulgus, the common people who are semi-doctum, semi-educated common people putant. And this is the highlighted bit there. Okay, so, but said by the certain ratio, by the certain method, as it is dictum said and proba, correctly or properly contended or asserted, by which or in which also the Greeks thus uterent, or the Greeks use it. And Plautus, most elegantissimus, very elegant in his of the Verborum Latinum of Roman words, he said this in his book, the Amphitryon. We have something strange here. Numero mihi is the other way of putting it. I'll just scroll a bit. So it says here, not as solitum, not as we're accustomed to say in mente, but he uses in mentem, the accusative, instead of the ablative here. 18. Annum 4, and there's but and 4, besides Plautus, of who Illy, he, the guy's friend, uses, taking the ablative, can use this example in the present situation or circumstances. Multem, many, we or I, quoque also, amongst the veteros scriptores, amongst the old writers, their locutionum, their way of putting things, offendimus. We've struck upon or come across such a copious, such a great amount of these locutions, and his vulgo adnotus inspersimus. So we've interspersed these adnotations, which are commonly found in these old writers. That's probably the best way to put it. 19. Ut with a V, and as et also, however or moreover, by istem ratio, and by this reasoning or way of thinking, missam, so I'll omit or look over this, facias, which is you make it, these things of which I've omitted or passed over, and these authorities, authority being that a lot of the old writers use them. Nevertheless, tamen, the sound and the position itself of the words, so paying attention to what it sounds like and where it's placed in the work, especially since it's like a poem, has been declared satisfactorily, and rather something in Greek, I'll put that in italics, is more convenisce, it's more suitable or fitting to these modulations, which is the melody or rhythm of the orations of Marcus Tullius Cicero. I know he used to like to put the endings of certain words in a certain way. Ut quoniam, so that since utrum vis, whichever of the ones you like, he was able to be said in Latin, or in his Latin, he preferred, mallet, to say potestam, non poteste, and not potestate, which that's the ablative, and this is the accusative looking form. Annum 4, illud this, thus composed, so if you compose it in this way, it is more eucunius, which is a comparative, it's more pleasant to the auram, which would be your ear, and more completius, more complete, or rounder, as they say. So we've got illud and hoc, one's the former, one's the later. So the former would be the accusative, and the hoc, the later, would be the ablative. For this later one, the ablative one, is in suavius. It's not sweet, and it's imperfect. So isn't that good? If only, or if in this way, thus, it is explored by the ear or heard by the ear, if a man hears it in such a way, it's not certa, it's not. So if a man is not basically deaf to good Latin, and neither is he jacentoi, which literally means he's lying down, so I guess the certa bit makes it clear it's deaf, so this would have something similar to do. And we'll have jacentoi as this participle as the daily dictionary word. Participle from yakio, lying prostrate. lying ill, being sick, this sort of thing, and here of speech or language, which is what we're dealing with. It's dull, languid, and lifeless. Okay. Back to Sicuti. Just as it is Hercules by Hercules, that he malwitted, he preferred to say explicavit with the V rather than expliquit with the U, which was yam, now then or already, began coprit to be more usitatius, comparative, more in use. Verbus sunt, haec. These are the words from the oration of himself, of Ipsius, which he habituated, which he had in, I think we mentioned this earlier, De Imperio of Pompey, concerning the command of Pompey. Sicilia, this is Sicily in modern English, is attestus, is the witness, which multis periculus, with many dangers, it was kinked in, it was surrounded, unique means on everywhere, it's like passum, non terror, not with the terror of war, but by the celerate, but by the quickness of his decisions, he explicavited, so he freed it. Here's the word that they're talking about, explicavit from up there. And that's it for the day. But, see, if he had dicorated, if he had said explicavit, it would have been imperfecto and debilitated the number of words or the sounding of it, and the soundness would be clauderate, it would be limping. And that finishes 7.